Welcome to Epoch News. I'm Tatiana Darzi. Former CCTV host Zehua has finally resurfaced after going missing for 2 months. Zehua visited areas deemed sensitive by the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, in an effort to report uncensored information to share online. He published a video describing his arrest and what happened to him afterwards during those 2 months that he went missing.
Zehua, 25, is a former CCTV host. Before he was arrested, he visited many places in Wuhan where the CCP virus outbreak started and hosted several live streams during visits. These places include Baibuting Community, morgues, Wuchang Railway Station, and Wuhan Institute of Virology, the suspected origin of the CCP virus. Li went missing after being taken in by police officers on February 26th. On April 22nd, for the first time since his disappearance, Zehua spoke out publicly on social media and shared about his arrest and his experience being quarantined. Zehua uploaded a 6-minute video on YouTube discussing how he was being chased by police on February 26th. On that night, he was taken to the local police station at Qingshan District and was sent to the inquiry room after submitting his DNA information. The police officers detained him until the following day for disrupting public order, but later his case was dismissed. The police officers then forcibly quarantined him with the excuse that he was once in the epidemic center. Subsequently, he was sent to quarantine in an isolation center in his hometown without any electronic equipment on March 14th.
到3月14号早晨，我始终都在隔离点的酒店里度过。3月14号早晨后，我被送到了我的老家的一个定点隔离点里。
我现在被转移到另外的地方隔离了，从武汉的一个隔离点，现在转到了我老家的一个隔离点。
直到3月28号，隔离结束后，我一直在陪我的家人。
Many people on social media expressed concern over journalists and dissidents who were arrested before Zehua and wrote the following. It is very obvious that he has been warned by the police officers because now he is more cautious about what he says. Please continue the appeal of the release of Chen Qiushi and Fang Bin from the CCP. Zehua is free now. Really free or maybe not really? But what about Qiushi, Fang Bin, Wang Xiaoxiao, and Jing Yan? What is going to happen to those who are arrested for knowing the truth about the Wuhan epidemic?
There are so many weird and rare things in China, and one of them is a phenomenon that almost nobody in WeChat dares to speak about. The lies and the violence are at the pinnacle of all because your soul and your body are fearful of them to a point where you simply surrender. It is an extreme and uncommon evil. Not one single citizen dares to say the truth.
Ms. Li from Zhejiang said online that Zehua is lucky to be alive compared to dissident Ye Qing, who lost his life. He graduated from the Faculty of Law of Zhejiang University. Ye was 42 years old and working in a prison when he was expelled from his job because he publicly criticized the government online. He did not cave in to pressure despite being sent to a psychiatric hospital 3 times. 1 month ago, he was found dead in a village that is more than 6 miles, 10 kilometers away from the county. Police officers claim that he died from a fall, but his relatives believe otherwise.
A brave young Chinese man criticized the regime for being inept and arrogant in combating the outbreak. A short video was posted online showing a young man challenging the regime. According to the post, the young man indicated that there was no need to hide his face in the video.
It said that China is making great efforts in handling the pandemic. China is claiming to have done a wonderful job in winning against the pandemic and so on. My town has been closed for more than 40 days. Has anyone received 1 dime? Where has the 900 billion yuan in tax dollars gone? Where is the government's relief for this pandemic? During the Qing dynasty, there was a porridge shed set up to serve the public during natural disasters. Where's our porridge? I can pay for my own porridge, but where is it? Forget the relief fund, I have money, but where's the porridge? What sort of great effort is this when dealing with the pandemic? Fight the pandemic, protect life, poverty, and safety. This is a fight against the pandemic. But why? Why bother? Just let us die. Who cares about the pandemic? We were sitting at home like a woman who had just given birth for more than 40 days. Then there was group buying. Then there was inflation. Anything but relief. There's nothing. We also have a mortgage to pay. Even if it's postponed for a few months, we still need to pay it. If I don't die of the infection, I'll die of bankruptcy. Is that it? We will have to pay for a full 2 months. Afterwards, we can die from the lack of money because we paid our debt. Do you know how many of us are struggling with mortgage and car payments? What can we do with our lives? Should we say, long live the CCP? Should we say every other country has reacted slowly, but China won? You said it's 0 new cases. It's all 0. What's this 0 all about? It's all up to you. This is odd. I've never heard of any other place claiming they won the battle against the pandemic. This is unheard of in all of human history. It was tens of thousands of patients. Suddenly there were just a few dozens of patients. Wonderful. It's like God helped. It's God's mercy. Something as evil as this, there are only 2 places in this world where it could happen. One is North Korea, and the other, you can guess. I won't tell. Where there are 0 cases, you know it, and I know it. Has there ever been any truth since the beginning of the pandemic? Forget about passing the firewall. Why bother? Why waste the money? Why make trouble for ourselves? It's a lot of hard work to condemn online. Let's just continue staying inside the wall. Continue enjoying the great, bright correctness from within the wall. People outside the wall are living in dire situations. Don't bother. If you see the outside world, it will hurt your feelings.
The Chinese regime has been passing off substandard medical supplies and products and exported them to countries around the world. Many of these products have been recalled because they didn't meet the safety standards due to their poor quality and because many of these products are counterfeit.
The entire world has been hit hard by the CCP virus due to the cover-up by the Chinese Communist Party. Many Western countries have been controlling medical supplies back to China because of poor quality and failure to meet quality standards. These Western countries are also holding China accountable for the virus outbreak, the cover-up, fake news propaganda, bribing the WHO, and making unlawful profits during the pandemic. As many countries across the globe try to develop a vaccine for the virus, Chinese state-run media disclosed that they had already started to research and develop a vaccine as early as January 5th. The CCP has been controlling public opinion and spreading propaganda about their success in handling the epidemic since the virus's initial stages in Wuhan. Bitter Winter, an overseas online platform for religious liberty and human rights in China, reported that the Chinese people have now learned to read news reports published by the CCP with the reverse thinking. An insider revealed that on the second day of no new confirmed cases, a patient critically infected by the CCP virus died in Wuhan at a local hospital. Another insider from Shandong said that the local government not only covered up the real death tolls, but also bribed the families of the deceased to not speak out, with the intention of creating the false image that the epidemic is under control. According to reports, while Chinese people read the government's censored news, insiders who knew the truth and the severity of the virus advised their relatives to stay at home. Online, there are many people suspecting the CCP is spreading propaganda and feel unbothered by the misleading and unclear information. Fake information flusters people, and fake medical supplies horrify Western countries, including Britain, Australia, the Netherlands, Turkey, Finland, Pakistan, Belgium, Spain, the Czech Republic, Malaysia, and many more. These nations express that surgical face masks, virus testing kits, and other related medical supplies imported from China were of poor quality and did not meet the standard for epidemic prevention. Therefore, they have decided to recall these products and return them to China.
A conventional mindset used by the CCP to allow the flow of counterfeit products in the country and suppress and eliminate any negative feedback or protests from the citizens is widely applied in order to replace good products with fake products. In addition, it is very possible that many people involved in the process keep the qualified products to themselves and send out the fake and poor quality products.
According to the latest news, the state of Illinois purchased almost $1.7 million worth of N95 face masks from China that did not meet the safety standards and should be returned. What is more concerning is the fact that these face masks are being sold and purchased in free markets. Zhang Jian expressed the following.
Western countries have never thought that the Chinese Communist Party would have the audacity to either sell or donate these fake face masks and medical supplies during the pandemic. The percentage of fake products among these medical supplies is extremely high, and these Western nations are furious with such action.
Human life is at stake. The CCP's fake information and fake products sparked a global outcry. Yang Jianqing, who worked for the human rights NGO in China, indicated that
The trend of making counterfeit products in both large corporate companies and small private businesses obviously violates trade ethics and has been exposed numerous times on an international level. As time goes on, China loses credibility and never becomes a leader in the international community. Eventually, it will be rejected by many countries and their people.
He believes that both fake medical supplies and false information related to the virus reflect the high profit in producing fake products and a lack of supervision under the Chinese regime.
Counterfeiting satisfies the desire to perform well in the government. The cost of making counterfeit products is extremely low. The government can punish businesses severely when such action is exposed. However, the Chinese government never cares about issues related to counterfeiting. Instead of punishing those businesses, the government benefits from huge profits together with the businesses.
Presently, many countries are vigorously developing vaccines for the CCP virus, but the CCP has already published information about an inactivated vaccine. Vice President of Sinopharm said that they had been working hard on many different stages for 98 days before they received the very first approval for the vaccine's clinical trial on April 12th. Many outsiders suspect that the CCP was able to predict the outbreak of the virus and wonder if there were any special reasons for the development of vaccines as early as January 5th. If the CCP only admitted to the highly infectious human-to-human transmission on January 20th, then why did the CCP admonish doctors such as Dr. Li Wenliang, Dr. Ai Fen, and many others right from the start? On Sunday, April 19th, Britain's The Mail reported that the CCP launched a well-planned campaign to stop its 1.4 billion people from discussing the outbreak of the virus. An investigation revealed that during the epidemic's outbreak, there were more than 5,100 people arrested for sharing the CCP virus-related information, and many dissidents were labeled as sick so that the government could quarantine them. In addition, the so-called health QR code was used to control people's activities and further control their lives. Human rights barrister Jeffrey Robertson, the former judge of Court of Appeal of the UN and Queen's Counsel, urged the United Nations to investigate the outbreak of the CCP virus and the reason why the virus spread rapidly around the world.
The Chinese regime is being sued by Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt for suppressing information, arresting whistleblowers, and denying the seriousness of the contagion of the CCP virus. In addition, Mississippi's Attorney General also announced that she is preparing a lawsuit against the Chinese regime to hold them accountable for malicious and dangerous acts.
On April 21st, Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt filed a lawsuit against the Chinese regime and its officials and institutions, alleging that their actions to suppress information, arrest whistleblowers, and deny the contagious nature of the CCP virus led to the loss of life and severe economic consequences in Missouri. The lawsuit filed in the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Missouri read, "During the critical weeks of the initial outbreak, Chinese authorities deceived the public, suppressed crucial information, arrested whistleblowers, denied human-to-human transmission in the face of mounting evidence, destroyed critical medical research, permitted millions of people to be exposed to the virus, and even hoarded personal protective equipment, thus causing a global pandemic that was unnecessary and preventable. Defendants are responsible for the enormous death, suffering, and economic losses they inflicted on the world, including Missourians, and they should be held responsible." According to the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services, as of April 20th, Missouri had more than 5,800 confirmed CCP virus infections, and more than 177 Missourians had died, with these numbers increasing on a daily basis. Missouri has also suffered around $44 billion in losses due to the shutdown in response to the coronavirus outbreak. Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt tweeted, "The bottom line, they lied to the world and should be held accountable." Schmidt told Fox News,
the deception, the misrepresentation, the concealment of the Chinese government of the origins of this vicious virus that's impacted the entire globe.
3 New York State residents from Westchester County, including a doctor, have filed a class action lawsuit against the World Health Organization on April 20th. Filed in the federal court in White Plains, New York, the suit accuses the WHO of gross negligence for its handling and response to the global outbreak, the New York Post reported. The WHO mishandled and mismanaged the response to the discovery of the coronavirus and, upon information and belief, engaged in a cover-up of the COVID-19 pandemic in China, stated part of the suit. The suit seeks unspecified damages for the WHO's incalculable harm to roughly 756,000 adult residents in Westchester County who would make up the class. The lawsuit also alleged that the WHO is causing and/or contributing to the subsequent spread of the coronavirus all over the world, including to the United States of America and the state of New York. One new poll by the Pew Research Center shows 2/3 of Americans hold a negative view of China. It's the highest percentage on record. Some lawmakers, like Senator Tom Cotton, are looking to introduce new legislation to make it easier to sue the Chinese regime over the CCP virus pandemic.
A volunteer in Wuhan named Zhang Yi was visited by local authorities who came to harass and threaten him during the lockdown because he accepted to be interviewed by a foreign media. Zhang Yi works with a group of volunteers who assist people through hardship due to the pandemic. The volunteers deliver food and other useful items to residents in need. Now the regime is working hard to silence and frame the group with fraud.
Zhang Yi is a volunteer in Wuhan. Due to his appearance in foreign press media, such as Voice of America, Zhang Yi was constantly warned, visited, and threatened by local authorities. During the pandemic, his group participated in delivering food and materials to residents in desperate need. However, rather than assisting people and getting through the hardship, the regime is working hard to frame and silence the group with a financial fraud charge.
You mentioned mutual aid groups are in trouble. What's that about?
There are many groups in the mutual aid section of WeChat during the pandemic. Some of us are restricted at home and felt that we could contribute to allow those who can help in the front line. So we chip in with the cost. Practically, there are two separate lines, one for accountants and the other for cashiers. Each expenditure needs a vote. The voters are not involved in the finances. The cashier and accountant are not involved in the votes. With the volunteer work, now we have around 9,000 yuan, $1,271 in the bank. Considering we are in the epicenter, we don't know who will survive. For the sake of security, the remaining balance was transferred overseas to a Wuhan native. Just a few days ago, police summoned a family member of this overseas person for a suspected WeChat financial fraud. The police acquired his overseas address and asked the family member to sign on his behalf a letter of WeChat financial fraud commitment. But it was the police who filed a complaint about so-called fraud, no one else. We knew they had been monitoring our WeChat accounts. In fact, they knew all about how the money was spent, every dime of it. It was simply because I accepted interviews from foreign press.
Which police station was it?
The Chongqing Public Security led by Chief Police Zheng Jianfei. They have called multiple times and threatened me not to take any interviews. I told them that first, they need to show me on what legal base I should keep my mouth shut. Secondly, these foreign press, such as VOA, are registered entities in Beijing. They even conducted press releases for the annual plenary sessions. If I need to be silenced, then the committee of the plenary sessions should also keep their mouths shut. Thirdly, if I have done something wrong, show me the legal proceedings and I will obey them. They have nothing to justify their cause. That's why they've been trying to frame me. I know they have tried to set me up. After the complete lockdown of Wuhan, the WeChat mutual aid group has been blocked ever since February 29th. My personal WeChat account was also blocked. Even though I have a green health code, I still need a pass. Without a WeChat account, I don't have a pass for the apartment complex, public transportation, or supermarket. This is what they are trying to do to me, keep me trapped at home in order to starve to death. I filed a paper complaint to the WeChat headquarters. I can't reach any customer service personnel after many phone calls.
In Wuhan, local authorities harass and threaten volunteer groups during the lockdown. Some volunteer members have already gone missing. The interview was conducted by Hong Ning of the Chinese language Epoch Times.
President Donald Trump stated in yesterday's press briefing that the country wants to get back to work and that they will return to work very fast. Trump went on to compliment several governors for doing a great job in handling the CCP virus in their states, especially in those metropolitan states like California, New Jersey, and New York.
I think I have as good an idea as anybody, and I think our economy will start to pick up very substantially as soon as the states get open, and that's happening as we speak, and it's actually very exciting, and people are just thrilled to see it, because our country has to get back to work. They want to get back to work. You see that, whether it's a demonstration or just in talking to people. They're going to get back to work, and they're going to get back to work very fast. States are advanced. I look at Gavin Newsom was very nice today. He wrote a beautiful statement about we sent him a lot of things that he needed. Okay, different things that he needed. We got it taken care of. They've done very well in California, as you know. They're doing really well in Florida. They're doing well in a lot of places. New York and New Jersey got hit very hard. They're doing very well. I spoke again with Governor Cuomo, with Governor Murphy. They're doing a great job. And here's the thing, we have to see, they got hit hard. Everyone close together, tight in. People don't realize New Jersey is very tight. You realize that because you've been covering it for a long time, but very tight. New York obviously is very tight. They're doing a terrific job. I think for the most part, I'll be able to tell you when it's all over, but a lot of the governors have done a really terrific job. Some I don't think have, to be honest.
A new documentary movie on how the Chinese Communist Party attempts to dominate the world with its three-step method will premiere on April 25th, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Epoch Times, the NTD News website, and related YouTube and Facebook channels.
The coronavirus outbreak is the latest wake-up call.
U.S. Senator Ben Sasse put it plainly, the Chinese Communist Party has lied, is lying, and will continue to lie about coronavirus to protect the regime.
In 5 to 10 years, we'll have virtually no manufacturing capacity left for generic drugs. And again, this is 90% of our medicines.
And the world should know, if Hong Kong falls, the whole world falls, okay? Because the Chinese Communist Party is the existential risk of humanity, period.
Since the CCP took power, 80 million people have died from its policies and political campaigns.
They're using our institutions and our norms and our values against us in ways that we hadn't necessarily envisioned towards their own authoritarian agenda.
From the party's great firewall in cyberspace, or to that great wall of sand in the South China Sea.
More repression, more unfair competition, more predatory economic practices, indeed a more aggressive military posture as well.
If we do not meet this threat now, it's going to define our century.
The following charts will show you the most recent numbers regarding the CCP virus pandemic. However, China and Iran are not included because their numbers are unverifiable. That's all for today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this program with friends and family to keep them informed about the latest news and updates. Thank you for joining me. See you next time.